Hello, everyone. My name is Seth, and today I want to be reviewing my wife's favorite movie, A Walk to Remember. It is almost my wife's birthday, and she gave me the idea to review her favorite movie, A Walk to Remember, starring Mandy Moore and Shane West. This has been her favorite movie for as long as I've known her, and so I figured it's probably past time for me to give it a watch. So this video is dedicated to my wife, Emma Bell. Happy early birthday. I hope you enjoy the review. I hope you enjoy what I have to say about your favorite movie. So everyone, be nice to my wife down in the comment section below. Wish her a happy birthday. And while you're there, go ahead and like the video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. Last I checked, we were only 2 subscribers away from 200. So go ahead and subscribe. It will absolutely make my day. It's free, doesn't cost you a thing. So going into this, I pretty much knew nothing about this film other than the fact that it was a romance movie and it starred Mandy Moore. And quite honestly, going into it, I thought I would kind of hate it. This definitely is not my kind of film, but I was open to it, and I honestly liked it quite a bit more than I was expecting to. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be my new favorite movie or anything, but I'd say it's just like a cute little romance movie. I understand to a degree why my wife loves this movie so much. It's kind of your average love story. You have this bad boy who's kind of going down the wrong path, and you have this good girl, and they're kind of brought together, forced together because of some different circumstances, and they kind of fall for each other while also helping each other. You know, she helps him kind of get on a better path. He helps her kind of loosen up a little bit. You've probably seen something like this before, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I would say that the majority of the characters in this film, though, are kind of thin. There's not a ton of depth to a lot of the characters other than our main 2 characters. I really do like the character of Jamie. That's Mandy Moore's character. She's just a very sweet and pure-hearted character. And she's one of these characters that do have some depth in this film. But it does take a little bit of the film's runtime to really start to explore some of the depth of that character. Landon, played by Shane West, he has some character development. He has some character depth throughout this film. I think for the most part, it's well done, although some of it is kind of cliche. And there's not really much to any of the other characters throughout this film. Most of them are there just to kind of, round out the cast and to maybe add some hurdles for Landon and Jamie. And I understand that they were supposed to be annoying, but I really did not like Landon's friends in this film. I definitely found them annoying. And so I was kind of glad that we saw less of them as the story progressed. Mandy Moore does a really good job here. I think she's a very talented performer, and she brings a lot of heart to this role. I think Shane West also does a good job here. I don't think I've really seen him in anything else. Him and Mandy Moore have really good chemistry in this film, and I would say he probably has the most to do emotionally throughout this film, and he handled it pretty well. And I think the rest of the cast did a fine job. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of depth to those characters, but they did a fine job. Nobody stood out one way or another. I don't think that the script does anything too outstanding, but it gets the job done. I'd love to see some more depth to these characters, and I'd like to see a few less cliches in the script, but overall, I would say that the script is serviceable. I think maybe there were times throughout the film where some of the resolutions to some of the conflicts came a little bit too quick or too easy. I would have liked to see that expanded maybe a little bit more. And there were times in this film where I thought the pacing felt a little bit fast, especially toward the first act. Toward the beginning of the film, it definitely felt like they were kind of rushing through it a little bit. This movie was just barely over an hour and 40 minutes, and typically I would say that's probably a good length to aim for a romantic movie, but I feel like this could have been a little bit longer. I'd honestly love for this film to be a little bit longer. It'd give us more time with these characters, really getting to dig into these characters, really getting to dig into these relationships that these characters have. I think that would have benefited the film as a whole. They just would have spent a little bit more time on things like that. And I won't spoil anything in case you want to go see it. You haven't seen this film, but there is a twist in this film, and I do like the twist. I think it does a very good and interesting thing for the story to really kind of throw the story in a different direction than maybe you were expecting. However, I do wish that they had a few kind of subtle hints to that twist. I think a great twist works when you go back, rewatch the film, and you can kind of point out moments that you wouldn't have noticed before, but knowing what you know now, you definitely notice, and it makes sense. It's all kind of leading up to that twist. So I wish they did that a little bit more, because this twist kind of seemed like it came out of nowhere. And I get that's kind of what they were going for, but I think a few subtle hints probably would have helped. So I think the pacing at times was a little bit weird, a little bit too fast, I think. But I think that goes hand in hand with the editing. And I think the editing, especially toward the beginning of the film, was a little bit too fast. It kind of felt like they were rushing from scene to scene. I feel like it got better as the film went on, as it started to reach its conclusion, as we got deeper into the film. I think the editing kind of found the right pace, but there toward the beginning, I feel like it just didn't quite give the scenes enough room to breathe. And there was kind of one small thing with the editing that I noticed. There was a shot they had of an ambulance, and it was going by, and I could tell that they had flipped the footage for whatever reason, because all of the words on the ambulance were backwards. I don't necessarily know why they needed to flip it. I don't think in the context of the film, with the previous shot or then the shot right after, I don't think it necessarily needed to be flipped. So that's not the biggest deal, but that is just kind of one odd editing thing that I did notice. It kind of brought me out of the film just for a brief second. Overall, I will say I'm a little surprised by how much I liked it. I went into this thinking I really wouldn't like it, but I think this is a solid little romance movie. I think it is 100% completely fine. It is just a cute little romance story. It has some cliches. It's not 100% unique. You've seen some of this stuff before, but honestly, it does work. Mandy Moore gives a good performance. So does Shane West. He does a good job here. He has some more emotional moments to kind of tackle. I think he does a good job here. But those two have some really, really good chemistry. If their chemistry wasn't as good as it was, this film definitely wouldn't have worked. But they do have great chemistry. And the romance does work. You buy it. You believe it. And this just makes for a cute, charming romance movie. I think it has some pacing issues, maybe a little bit of screenwriting issues. There's not a ton of depth to some of these characters. But overall, I would say that this movie works. If you were looking for a romance film just to kind of throw on, I would recommend this one. This is probably like a nice, easy watch, and it does everything solid enough. And it's just a pretty enjoyable, cute, romantic movie. I honestly liked it better than I thought I would. I think I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. But that's it. That's my review of A Walk to Remember. Have you seen this film? Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. And once again, happy birthday to my wife, Emma Bell. You are the best. This was a great video idea. And so thank you. I hope you have an incredible year ahead. I hope it's the best year yet. But thank you everybody so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like this video, hit subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. You can follow me on social media pretty much anywhere at CinemaSeth, and I'll see you next time.